Hello everyone, Soulless Ginger here today. Um, Doing things a little different. Uh, got a somewhat steady program going right now, so we'll see how it goes. Video quality's not that good, but working on getting better equipment. Anywho, I want to talk about identity politics today. Basically, they're ruining any chance of us having conversations with anybody. Um, you know, if you don't follow a certain line or go a certain way, you're told to leave the group, even though you're part of the group, but because you don't follow everything or you're this, you're not good enough. You're not good enough for us. First case I want to bring up is what happened in Chicago with the Gay Pride March, the Dyke March in Chicago, where people were waving the LGBTQ flag with the Star of David on it, and they were told to leave because it was threatening to other people. And the organizers of the march have actually come out and said that it was a pro-Palestinian march and an anti-Zionist march, but the people weren't flying the Israeli flag. They were identifying themselves as Jewish and gay. But because they were doing that, it was seen as promoting Israel. Now I'm not going to open up that can of worms in this video. That's just another video and a half that you have to do just on that. But to say that they can't display what they are because it offends people, because it's seen as promoting this when really it was promoting who they were. We're silencing people on who they are because it offends, because it doesn't fit the identity that we want to promote. There was also talk that they were also saying you couldn't fly the American flag at the Dyke March as well. That was offensive to people. So it was a whole issue of just follow the identity we want for this march. When they say they want to be open and inclusive, well, they're open and inclusive up until the point where they say, "Oh, you're gay, great. Oh, you're gay, but you're Jewish. You can't promote you're Jewish. You can't do that. Sorry, you can't do it. You do it, we're gonna have to ask you to leave." It's just wrong. It's wrong on so many levels. And then you have right now the feminists with seems everyone wants to get on the whole Anita Sargon of Akkad issue on what she did at VidCon. What she did at VidCon, where she called him out, called him a shitbag and garbage human, and that's not a way to handle a situation. You know, he wasn't taunting. He wasn't. He didn't even ask any questions. He didn't go at her. Yeah, he made videos critical of her, but he's never called her anything demeaning in those videos. So I'm trying to understand. I'm sure that followers of his, people who follow him, may have said nasty things, but he doesn't tell people to do that. So for her to verbally attack him, it's wrong. But you have these organizations and these people who are ardent feminists who are saying she called out this anti-woman bigot and everything else. And everything I've seen from Sargon, he's not anti-woman. He's just anti-extremism, I guess you would say. Feminism to the extreme, Islam to the extreme, anything to the extreme that you get fanatical with it and you start throwing everyone else under the bus and just everything has to be about your view, and if anyone counters it, they're wrong, or you counter it, you're harassing me. That's what he wants to go at. The whole social justice warrior movement, which is just about social justice, but in a way that it's justice for some, but not all. You know, and no offense, but justice is never about being social. Justice is hard. It's brutal. You know, it's to fix society's ills through social justice. You're just creating more ills because you have to take from some and demean some to lift up this group. And when this group is up high, are you going to now bring them down low to because another group is being oppressed by them? That's not the way to handle it. But she went and played the victim. She put out a post. I'll leave the link below. Also, the link of how she attacked Sargon, and also to the Chicago Dyke March. In my below. But she attacked him on a post on her website, Feminist Frequency, which mischaracterized the whole thing and painted her as a victim right off the bat. You have tons of other people who have video of this. He was sitting there. He wasn't harassing. She's taking it as him going to a panel. Now, no offense. If I'm at some place and it's about women online and all that, I want to hear their point of view so I can understand it. You can't understand a point of view unless you listen to it. But according to Anita, that's harassment because he made videos critical of her. For him to sit in that front row like that and not say a word, sit there and listen respectfully, not even get up to ask a question, just sitting there, that was harassment. Sure, they probably sat up front to get a reaction from her. Like, oh great, they're here, what are they going to do? But she took that reaction to a place it didn't need to go. And then you have, in her post also, she mentions Bunty King, who didn't say anything wrong. He actually was very, very polite. Mischaracterized a total tweet of his out of proportion and twisted it around to make it look like he was telling women that they need to just deal with stuff when he wasn't. He was actually talking about how powerful women can be through certain situations. And, it goes right to the victim card. And for her, it's about playing the victim card in feminism. That's her identity. That's her identity politics. And if you don't fit into that, you're somehow wrong. And then you have people who want to back her up, who want to just start attacking anyone, saying they're militant at SJWs, blah, 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 blah. They're Nazis, this and that. These people, if anything, want a conversation with the other side. They would like nothing more to sit down and talk to them. Okay, so look, this is how I feel, this blah, 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 blah. Let's, talk and work it out, But that's not what they want to do. I mean, Sargon of Akkad has made comments about lots of people. She wants to put out that Anita Sarkeesian wants to say he just makes all his videos about women. No. 4%, around 4% of his videos involve her. And she wants to say he's online harassing her. 4% of any of his videos done involve her, but yet that's harassment. That's like saying I spent 4% of my life just walking by and saying hello, but you're viewing that as harassment. Being critical of someone is not harassment. And it's this identity politics of you have to be my type of person, is just wrong. The Women's March that we had back not too long ago, you had a group who identified as pro-life feminists who were told they couldn't be a part of it. They couldn't sponsor it because they were pro-life. Okay? I don't care what your views on abortion are, or, or, or aren't. It's immaterial to the fact that They were getting behind the message of what the Women's March was about. But because they weren't pro-choice, you can't be a part of it. But we're tolerant and inclusive, with our politics, unless it's something that we don't agree with. And it's killing us. It's killing conversation. It's driving people to extremes on the left and right. You got the alt-right, who, and people who want to be pissed off about the Shakespeare play with Trump. Okay? No offense. It wasn't exactly like the Shakespeare play going on where Trump's being used, but they did have one with Obama in 2012. People want to say there's differences. Yes, there's differences, but you know what? The fact that it was done anyway, no one complained. Obama was hung up in effigy and burned, this and that. People on the right kept silent, Regardless of what your stance is, he was our president, Obama. And he deserved the respect of the office. You can disagree with the man's policies, but you got to respect the office. And unfortunately, we're at a point where identity politics don't even allow people to respect the office of the president because Trump's this way, And what happened at the Shakespeare play with certain people who were from Rebel Media and Joe Perspex, that was ridiculous. That was doing the same thing that the left does with the college protests, this and that, silencing anything just because you don't agree with it. And that's censorship. That's wrong. I can disagree with what someone's saying, but they have a right to say it. They have a right to be heard. I don't have to sit there and listen to it, but they still have a right to be heard. So again, it's just not identity politics on the left. It's also identity politics on the right. And we need to start focusing less on what we identify as and start working on what we all have in common. We're all people. We all come from different beliefs, different backgrounds. We need to come together. Okay? Now most of what I'm seeing now, honestly, it's no coming together from the other side, from social justice warriors, feminists. They don't want to come together and talk. They just want to demonize and destroy. They want to silence any criticism of themselves. And anyone who doesn't stay within the fold, while they're within the fold, they're revered, and how dare you say this, blah, 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 blah. But the minute they leave the fold, as was done to Lacey Green, which is wrong. How she's being treated by people is wrong. People who had her back up to the point where she said, I want to meet with these people and talk to them. The minute she started doing it and realized that they're not bad people, they just have different opposing views. We may not agree on everything, but we can discuss it and talk. The minute she had conversations, it was, she was never a true feminist. She was never this. She was never that. She's only doing it for this. Now she's dating a Nazi. And Chris Reagan's the farthest from a Nazi there is. And no offense, I'm going to say this. I'm sick of the term Nazi being thrown around. Okay? My grandfathers both fought the Nazis during World War II. One of them actually was involved in a military unit that freed the concentration camp. Okay? They freed a concentration camp. My grandfathers fought the Nazis. Okay? The people today that are being called Nazis are not Nazis. The people that are having that label forced on them, who are no way whatsoever even close to what Nazis were, are being labeled this because labeling someone something makes them not want to debate. The minute you call someone a homophobe, they don't want to talk, I got to stop or I'm going to be labeled a homophobe or a racist or this or that. You know what? We need to stop worrying about labels. Okay? Stop worrying about labels and start following the right path of working together. Having a conversation. As I said, I wouldn't mind talking to an ardent feminist. I'm not a feminist. I as I said, as I will say before, and I'll say again, I've worked in jobs where women were paid more than men, or it's just as much as men, and I've been in a supervisory position where I had to be in charge of the costs of what's going on with what I was running. And I'll tell you right now, women were making the same as me. There was no 70 cents on the dollar. In fact, one person, true story, female, was just promoted to the supervisory position. Yes, she initially was getting paid less than, but she was young, was never in a supervisory position. Okay? But you know what? I told her, I said, look, you want the position? Go there and fight for more money. Show them that you're worth it. And she went back, did it, and you know what? They bumped her up. They bumped her up to the equal pay that every other supervisor was getting, even though this person never had a supervisory position. And that's the thing. There's people who've been in supervisory positions where I was at. They deserve the higher pay, no offense, but they have the experience. Okay, male or female. Doesn't matter. If you had the experience, you deserved it more. You deserve to pay more. Okay? But if you ask for it, if you show that you're worth it, the company's going to pay you the same amount as anybody. Because if the pay gap myth was real, no offense, there would not be men working. They would fire all the men and hire nothing but women. You want to know why? Because a corporation's about its profits. And its biggest cost across the board, anyone who's been involved in a business, who's been in a supervisory position should know this, the biggest cost in any corporation is its payroll. So that right there should just silence everyone about the pay gap myth. Because payroll is the biggest expense any corporation has to pay. And if they can save 33 cents by firing every man and hiring woman, they would do it. But they don't. So again, think about it. Be logical. Okay? Be logical. And think about what you say before you say it. Okay? If you're going to be an asshole, be an asshole, yeah. Be an asshole who can back up what you're saying. Not just throw a bunch of shit against the wall and say, this person's made all their money and all their videos harassing women. No, they've criticized a lot more than just women in all their videos. They criticize a lot of things in their videos. All of them do. All of them do. They just don't focus on women. They focus on the whole spectrum that's covered under social justice, which focuses on a lot of things. Not just women, but it seems everyone just focuses on the women part, which isn't right. Because it falls within a certain sect of identity politics. And it's destroying America. Bit by bit, identity politics, right and left. I'm not just saying it's the left. The left is more ardent about identity politics than the right. Okay? So we need to call out the bullshit everywhere, right and left. Whoever's doing it. Whoever wants to do identity politics. You're not good enough for me. You're not this enough. Let's just start with we're people first and go from there. We can't even get to that point because, you're not a feminist. I won't talk to you. You don't believe in feminism. No, you're right, I don't. The feminism that is now, no, I don't. Because it's detrimental to men. It wants to tear men down, rip them apart. Their actions and their words speak louder than anything else, regardless of what the definition people want to spout out there, about, feminism, okay? Definition means nothing when your actions betray what your true meaning is. That's the issue. You want equality? Work for equality. Okay? Equality means no offense, but those women better start going out there and being trash men as well. Those women better start being able to lift 200-300 pounds on a dock and working as a dock worker. These women need to go out there and, bust their ass wherever. Now, I know some women who work on the docks, work in receiving departments and handle all that stuff. Okay? But my point is, not every woman can do it, and not every man can do it. But we need to get past the bullshit and stop focusing on identity and start focusing on the things that matter. Okay? So again, little rambly, I know, drinking beforehand, sorry. But again, identity politics, just wrong. Killing us, destroying our nation, destroys relationships with people. I know people who read the stories. I won't talk to this person because they supported Trump. Look, I voted for Trump. Not as big a supporter. He's doing some of the things he said he would do. Sometimes I think he talks out of his ass and says things he shouldn't. But you know what? You know who I wanted to vote for in the election? It was actually a Ben Carson and Carly Fiona fan. That's who I wanted, to be honest. It's who I really followed and was thinking about. Those were the two that I would have liked to have seen. But again, didn't play out that way. But, I couldn't vote for Hillary because, honestly, her policies, her demeanor with a lot of things was just wrong. Wrong on so many levels. Some of the things she said contradicts her past actions, Case in point, the Bill Cosby rape victims, those women needed to believe, but the women who accused her husband of that behavior had to be called slut, whores, and right-wing kooks by Hillary and were demeaned. What happened to believing rape victims? You believe rape victims as long as it doesn't involve her husband. Then, no, you can't believe them. Because, they're Republicans or conservatives or anything else. Some of them aren't. Some of them are just normal women who really got screwed over by a man. I'll admit it. But no one wants to talk about that man and what that man's done. Because he follows the identity politics that people want. And that's a problem. As long as your identity politics are right, you can screw up and do whatever you want. We're not going to call you on that because you're on our side. You're our people. No. You fuck up, you fuck up. Whatever side you're on, you need to call it out. All right? So again, it's a long little rainy. I know. So if you have any comments, please let me know. Visit me on Twitter, Patreon. Let me know. Let me know how I'm doing. Any feedback, any comments. It's all appreciated. All right? You guys have a good one.